E3, presented by Jason Bourne here at E3 2016. I am very, very excited, Ryan.
I know you are, Jack.
We've got DeeJ from Bungie here, talking about Rise of Iron, new Destiny update. I am so pumped. Tell us a little bit about the new update, new DLC coming out, and what you got here at E3.
Be my pleasure. I'm glad you're pumped.
I'm very, very excited. Any new updates, especially new raids, make me very happy.
Always make for great raid videos. We make it look impossible. Is what we do professionally.
We make your designers look fantastic.
It's supposed to be an aspirational activity. I mean, we say it's the most challenging activity in the director, and then people go and they solo it. And we like to keep that a secret. We like to see, look how challenging this is. Look how much these guys have to challenge themselves with their teamwork and their communication. I mean, that's the promise of a raid.
Yeah,
and we'll absolutely deliver on that with Rise of Iron. It's got a brand new raid, but it's got new things for every type of player of Destiny to do. All across the player spectrum, the whole player experience. You'll find new story missions, strikes, quests, the new raid, new ways to patrol, new public events. So no matter how you play Destiny, you'll find something to do in this new expansion.
You're bumping up the light level, new weapons, of course, and the Galahorn's coming back.
The Galahorn is coming back, and instead of us just saying, okay, well, good luck, you might get a Galahorn, we're restoring it to power levels that will help you confront this new enemy. And instead of you waiting for it to drop or to decrypt out of an engram, what we're going to do is we're going to provide a quest. So as you go out on this quest, you'll be forging your own Galahorn. So everybody has a real nice sense of ownership over it.
Well, is it the Galahorn we remember, or is it?
It is the classic Galahorn you remember. The white, the gold, the wolves, the Wolfpack rounds. If you pre-order Rise of Iron, you can get it in black and silver. A Galahorn fit for an Iron Lord. Something Lord Saladin would say, it looks pretty fancy. It looks good on you.
Man, I'm just amped. I mean, I love this story. Like, the narrative you guys have going through Destiny has been so much fun to watch as it's been altered and changed and grown upon and expanded upon as we've gone along. And one of my favorite things is jumping into the Destiny subreddit, which I'm sure you guys spend a lot of time in there, and watching people try to figure out where we're going with it. Trying to they're like, okay, I can see this is a Cosmodrome, but things are changing. Like, people trying to match up photos and being like, okay, the thing's missing, and now that's over here, and this is like, how much time do you guys spend on there just kind of laughing at what's happening?
Our new community manager was one of the original founders of that Destiny subreddit. So we obviously appreciate, the levels of passion and enthusiasm and speculation. I mean, the whole thing about Destiny, one of the major themes is solving these mysteries, understanding what happened back in the Golden Age and reclaiming that honor, reclaiming that power, and bringing it forward for a whole new generation of Guardians. And on the Destiny the Game subreddit, that conversation rages, and it's awesome. Same thing with our forums on Bungie.net or even Halo.Bungie.org. Some of the oldest communities that have played Bungie games, since the dawn of Bungie games.
Oh, yeah, we're friends with HBO. We've known those guys for a long time. Lewis Wu is a good friend of Roosterteeth.
Where I first learned about you guys.
Oh, yeah, nice.
So surely someone's gotten close, though. I've seen all the rampant speculation. People will dig through the Grimoire cards. They'll come up with these elaborate chains of story. I'm not saying you could confirm anything, but has anybody gotten close?
Well, I mean, people who have gone through and read the Grimoire cards have been asking a lot of the really pointed questions, like who is Lord Saladin?
Yeah.
Who is this guy that gets to preside over one of the most competitive rituals in the Crucible? Why do I have a shotgun named after someone named Fellwinter? Who the hell is Yolder, and why does she get to be the namesake that, graces my favorite belt-fed heavy machine gun? These are all of the stories that we're going to tell with Rise of Iron. We're going to tell the backstory of the Iron Lords. You'll understand their legacy. You'll learn about their sacrifice, and the noble battles they fought to defend humanity before any of the Guardians that are currently in the game were ever revived by their ghosts, in the dirt of old Russia. So we're going to take a look at some of the ancient aspects of the Destiny backstory, and we're going to satisfy those curiosities about lore, and we're going to welcome every single Guardian in the tower to rally to that Iron Banner and to follow Lord Saladin into battle. So this agent of the Crucible becomes your leader in this new war against an ancient threat, and anybody who answers the call and is brave and can fight their way through what we're going to throw at them can ascend to that rank and become an Iron Lord themselves.
Yeah, we got some gameplay going. Actually, we have a trailer going right now. And so, I'm curious about the wolves. Are we going to see those things roaming around, maybe? Like, do I get a wolf buddy that gets to follow me into PvE, maybe?
The wolves belong to Lord Saladin. So they will appear. I mean, he's the ultimate badass.
What if he goes out of town for like a week and he needs someone to watch him? Like, make sure they're fed? Like, maybe can I go to his place, his apartment?
The wolves water his plants and make sure that they record his favorite shows.
I got to make sure they're okay.
Oil up the hammer. I mean, it looks like it needs a lot of maintenance.
Yeah, wolves aren't pets. So if you're watching at home, kids, Please never approach a wolf and try to pet a wolf. You're not Lord Saladin.
Wolves aren't pets. DeeJ, there we go.
Hashtag wolves aren't pets.
Oh man, so yeah, I mean, I love all the secret stuff you guys have. Like one of my favorite things in the last raid you put out was the basketball hoop that is like people stumbled across, and I love little hidden things like that. And like, is there anything like that currently exists already that just people have missed? Can you answer anything like that?
You know, the community's like seawater. You know, they will fill every nook and cranny and crevice in this landscape that we've created for them to explore. So I will give the community credit. Their understanding of the world of Destiny is pretty comprehensive, which is why we need to go back to the drawing board. We need to work inside of our studio to give them new things to do and new things to discover. So with this new zone that you're going to get to explore in Rise of Iron, in the Plague Lands, there's all new mysteries. There's all new treasures for you to plunder from the landscape. There's new rituals that you can participate in to make your Guardian more powerful. The player fantasy here is not just to become a better Guardian, but to become an Iron Lord. Those are the themes that we're riffing on. Those are the activities that we're creating. That's the new story that we're telling. And we got a brand new enemy to make that just as equally challenging and explosive and action-oriented as it's ever been.
Now, what can you tell us about the new enemy type? It's not type, it's a whole new enemy.
It's a new House of Fallen.
There you go.
So every Guardian's adventure begins in Old Russia, and the Fallen are there to give you a hostile welcome to the world of Destiny. We're going to bring that journey full circle. So you'll find the wall that you first saw when your adventure began. It's become forever changed. It's been shattered by this new enemy. So the Fallen House of Devils have burrowed deep below Old Russia into some of those Golden Age vaults, where this ancient evil is contained. And they found a technological plague. Now, the Fallen love technology. They scavenge the bones of our Golden Age looking for things that they can claim for their own and appropriate. You go through their ships, you can see the technologies of all these other civilizations they've scoured, sort of, lashed to the ceiling and hanging from nets. Well, now that they've found this old technological plague that we'll call Siva, they're using that to alter their minds and their bodies. They're altering themselves to become machine gods. So they're a more dreaded foe than you've ever faced. They're the nastiest Fallen you've ever encountered. They fight in new ways. They die in new ways. So they've got some tricks up their sleeves for you.
My favorite name was the Peg Dregs, I think is what someone called
Peg Leg Dreg.
Yeah, the Peg Dregs. That's great. And seeing the technology and stuff, personally, as a fanboy, we've seen Rasputin come into play a whole lot more. Are we going to see kind of his evolution, or I guess his or her, or whatever you want to call an AI's
We're riffing
evolution?
on some of those common themes. When you infiltrate Rasputin's lair, you go through those diamond-shaped doorways.
I've seen a couple of those in the trailer, so I don't know if you're alluding to something, but...
Well, that's kind of the world of Destiny telling its own story through very subtle ways. But Golden Age technology is a major theme of the game. When the Traveler first came to Earth, and increased human lifespan and gave us, the magic indiscernible from technology, the things we used to rush out to colonize Mars and Venus. It was a time of wonder. It was a time of, gifted evolution, but it was also a time when if you dabble in those technologies that you don't understand, they can be destructive, they can be ravenous, they can be threatening, and that's what we're riffing on with Rise of Iron, is the Fallen have found some of that technology, and they're using it for horrible purposes, like bad guys do.
Yeah, it's like kids with fireworks, basically.
Right.
It's like, this could be beautiful in some cases, but with morons, it could be very, very
Mom,
bad.
look at this bomb I found in the basement. It's great.
And remember, right now, we are streaming live right now, so if you want to use the hashtag RTE3 either on Twitter, we're also keeping an eye on the chat as well over on YouTube. So if you have any questions for DeeJ or anything about Destiny and all, feel free to ask. I'm sure he'd answer any question you have completely without worrying about
he's not holding
anything.
back at all.
No, not at all.
I would like to ask, so in each DLC that's come out, you've had basically there's usually one voice that is your kind of narrator. It was the Ghost in the first one. We had Eris. Can you tell us anything about who might be our voice, our narrator?
Well,
for
your
this story?
champion is Lord Saladin. He is the central figure. He's the guy that you see in the trailer. He's the one that tells his story. Lord Saladin is the sole surviving Iron Lord. So once upon a time, before any of the Guardians were revived in Old Russia, it was the Iron Lords from a mountaintop fortress. They looked across Old Russia. They battled our enemies and protected humanity. And the Lords of Iron sacrificed themselves to contain this technological plague a long time ago. So ever since, Lord Saladin has been an agent of the Crucible, training Guardians for war in the event that technological plague were to ever rear its ugly head again. So now that this has returned, now that the Plague Lands is no longer forbidden for exploration, the trumpets of war have been sounded. Every Guardian is welcome to rally to his Iron Banner, and he is going to lead you in the new fight. So you will ascend Fellwinter Peak. You'll go into the Iron Temple where he's been honoring the members of his lost brothers and sisters, and you will sort of honor their memory and their legacy. And he'll have orders for you. He'll have a new story mission, new quests, new strike, and of course, like we talked about before, the new raid.
Yeah, I'm excited. Like the settings in Destiny are always so beautiful. Where it's like they just tell a story just by looking at the walls. And I've seen some images of like giant statues and stuff. It looks really, really awesome. Now, this is also the first DLC you guys have had that has been next gen only. Like this one's coming to Xbox One and PS4 only. So the 360 and PS3, they're kind of like you sort of moved on from that. What was the decision like to move to just the new gen console?
Sure. I mean, this was an inevitable evolution. We knew that we would have to do this someday when we originally revealed Destiny on all 4 consoles. We've come to a point in time where in order to tell new stories or to add new explorable spaces to those legacy generation consoles, we'd have to start taking away from that experience. And there are still players, much to the surprise of our hardcore community, there are still players who are embarking on their Destiny adventure for the first time. Oh, wow. So instead of depriving them of an opportunity to play a specific story mission or to visit a specific place, we're going to leave that experience intact. The stories that we've told, the places that we've had you explore are still going to be there on the legacy generation consoles. We're going to have to focus on the current generation. So PlayStation 4, Xbox One is where you'll find Rise of Iron. Destiny will still be playable on the legacy consoles. So if you're on PS3 or Xbox 360, Destiny will still be something you can enjoy after the launch of Rise of Iron. But sometime this August, we're going to fork the player progression on those different platforms.
Oh, wow. Okay. Now I've got a question from Twitter here. Church Am I says, real talk, will Destiny bring back the loot cave?
Will Destiny bring back the loot cave? What we've done
like it
with
was
Destiny.
on purpose the first time.
Well, maybe we should explain what the loot cave is,
Go ahead.
because it's funny because...
Did you ever shoot into the loot cave?
Oh,
Admit it.
absolutely.
Did
I
you?
shot
No,
into the
we
loot cave.
didn't. We don't have that on video anywhere.
Yeah, not at all. I don't think we put out a guide for that. No, it's funny because like we were talking about the Destiny subreddit. Someone went on there one time and said, I found this thing inside of a cave when I hit it. It said Lord Raoul, wants more victims or whatever.
And
it's
somebody
like, what is
said,
this? And
who wants to tell him? Isn't he adorable? Who wants to tell him about the loot cave?
Who's the rookie here? No, so the loot cave was basically a spot where people had figured out where it was. I think like someone spawned inside this loot cave, and you could stand back far enough and just barely miss the line that kind of like would deactivate new player or new NPCs coming out. Yeah. So we stood behind there and just fired rockets and just lobbed stuff into this cave. It just kept pouring more and more enemies out, and they would drop just tons and tons of Ingrams.
It was a significant time expenditure, but it was a good way to farm Ingrams, basically. Yeah.
And it was funny because it's happened a few times in Destiny where it's like something like that will pop up, and then you'll like literally enter a new zone, and you'll see the group of people doing what you were there for, and you kind of make these weird instant friends where it's like, okay, we're all in this together. So you'll sit back, everyone will launch until literally everyone's out of ammo.
Sure.
And it's like, all right, just kind of wait. Then you start dancing, and then like, okay, we're all dancing, let's just go. And then you'll rush, and then clear it all out, pick up all your stuff, go back, and just start it over again. And so
the loot cave's definitely an interesting story from Destiny Year One. I think it was a symptom of an appetite that we weren't satisfying. It's like I want to play a fun game. I want to complete missions. I want to defeat my enemies. I want stuff to blow up. I want to shoot bad guys. But if that's not giving me the rewards that I think I deserve, I will be completely content to stand here and shoot into a dark cave. I think we as game designers, as entertainers who want to create things that are fun, can do a better job of that. And that's just one of the things that we've done to evolve Destiny is to make the game more rewarding. The Gallarhorn quest is a great example of this in Rise of Iron. We want you to do awesome things that you're proud of, that give you rewards that will define your Guardian. People walking around the tower with a Gallarhorn on their back, it's like, hell yeah, you finished the quest. It's like, it's so nice to have it back. And it's strong enough to actually kill the bosses now. So that's what we're doing with Rise of Iron, is we're going to give people awesome things that they can do to get the rewards that they feel like they deserve. Even with the April update, we created scenarios where even the solo player can reach the top of the progression system. They can become all-powerful and say, I too am a Guardian capable of anything, without having to assemble a dream team to go play the raids. As fun as those things are, not everybody does them, and we want to satisfy every type of appetite in Destiny. At the same time, we love emergent behavior in the community. Bungie has a long tradition of celebrating the player and the ways they surprise us. So, if people are doing sparrow tricks, here's a trick sparrow. People are sparrow racing to exploit a chest.
Oh yeah.
It's like, here you go. Here's some sparrow racing tracks.
Yeah. Speaking of which, SRL, man, I had a blast playing SRL. That may have been my favorite competitive multiplayer stuff I've done in Destiny, because I'm a terrible shooter. It's very clear that I'm the worst shooter out of everyone.
It's true. He's a terrible shooter.
Yeah, we could 1v1. We could 1v1 to see who's the worst.
About 50 minutes later, we might have about 3 kills between us. But SRL was a blast. Any chance we might see more of that coming back?
Well, the live team's still at Bungie. We're still looking to pay off, the passion and enthusiasm that people bring into Destiny every day, and also give other players reasons to return to Destiny for fresh experiences. So they're still there. They still got great plans. Still got some ways to surprise the players and give them new things to do. So we'll let them have those conversations when they're ready. But I'm glad you liked Sparrow Racing. I liked it. I dug it. I get a lot of tweets about, the fact that people love sparrow racing, so I always pass those things up the chain. But we'll see what they have. We'll see what tricks they have up their sleeves.
Nothing's better than like ramping off something and doing like the leg kick and hitting it just as you go down and getting that little extra boost right at the bottom.
You do the barrel roll and then you kick somebody so that they don't make the jump, or you bump someone into the fan blade.
Yeah, exactly.
It was definitely a fun way to play.
Those blades at the end, my God, my bane. I hated those things. But you pointed out something that I really appreciate about Destiny is the fact that if you want to be a PvE player, you can make it up to 335 right now. If you want to play just in Crucible, you can just do that over and over. And there's multiple ways you can reach kind of the upper echelon of the game. And if you want to raid, great. If you don't want to raid, you can still get everything you want. And I really respect that and really appreciate it. And good Lord, Ryan, I'm so excited for the new update.
I know you are. We all are, because it always makes for great content.
Absolutely, yeah, we're pumped. We're gonna have our raid through it. It's gonna be a nightmare. So can you tell us when it's coming out and give us any final details on the update?
Sure. Destiny Rise of Iron, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, September 20th. And that's what we're looking at. We're going to have a great summer. We're going to, release new information. Maybe we'll have some more live streams of our own. We'll be making the rounds, meeting fans where we can, talking more about this new adventure that we're going to embark on. Still have yet to talk about the Crucible, still have yet to unveil the entire arsenal. There's all sorts of interesting rituals that will give players an opportunity to wield Lord Saladin's double-headed,
beautiful.
burning battle axe. So, yeah, there's lots of fun stuff that we're packing into this new adventure, and I'm glad you guys are looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. I got a whole suit of Iron Banner gear. It's my favorite way to strut through the tower.
Nice.
So as we start seeing players become Iron Lords, I think we're all going to look just fabulous.
All right. Well, if you need some people to show off your new stuff, I know Achievement Hunter back in Austin would love to give some early examples maybe before it comes out. Anyway, well, we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it.
Anyway, DeeJ, thank you so much for coming by, and we're going to head back over to Adam and Joel and see what those kids are doing over on their side.
Oh yeah. Oh
Dude,
yes.
Our
friends at Bungie.
So we had we actually helped make a commercial for Destiny, but something happened there.
We did help make a commercial.
We were in the Bungie offices
at Bungie,
and we're sitting in basically like the middle of their 500 or so employees, very quiet, all working very diligently, and we're working on a scene with a sparrow, and we ended up
Adam and I are working on a scene with a sparrow.
We ended up
in the not released the game Destiny.
Didn't come out yet. And we
hadn't come out yet.
We had ended up nailing this
diligently working
up a wall, killed an enemy, flipped the barrel around and landed it and took off. And it was such a once in a lifetime shot. And we jumped up and screamed, and the whole office turned and stared at us.
It was the thing, because it was there was the beta. I cannot remember, but it was there was these sparrows. These sparrows are so awesome. Look at all the fun things that you can do with sparrows, and we're trying to do a barrel roll with the sparrow, and it was it was not an easy thing to do with the sparrow, and here we are working on a commercial. By the way, all this is NDA. We're not supposed to talk about this, so don't tell anyone about any of this at all. But it was fun. No, it was we spent 3 hours working on this shot, and you finally did get the sparrow to do a barrel roll, and the whole office was yay!
The whole office of me and you. And
the whole office of you and me. It's funny because he alluded to something that takes place regarding Destiny and how the update isn't maybe necessarily available on there's every couple of years there's this thing that takes place at E3, and it doesn't happen often, but every couple of years there's this thing that happens where you have this console update, and so you sort of have to make the community has to make some sort of awkward transitions. The community has to make an awkward transition from one console to the other console, and I'm just some awkward transitions are so awkward, and you don't know how the community is going to make such an awkward transition from one console to the other. But then they do it. Wow, that was a lot of work for that. Oh my God. It's Gordon Van Dyke from our friend at Raw Fury.
Yes.
And you have
How
a
you doing,
game,
man?
Goner.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
I feel kind of like dwarfed after, following up on Destiny.